Welcome to the Insomnia Project. Sit back, relax, and listen as we have a conversation about the mundane. One thing that we can promise is that our conversation will be less than fascinating so that you can just feel free to drift off. We invite you to rate us on iTunes and also leave a message on iTunes. And thank you for joining us. We hope that you will listen and sleep. I'm your host, Marco Timpano, and joining me on this podcast is a dear friend, Phi Bulani. Welcome to the Insomnia Project.
Thank you very much, Marco. It's a pleasure to be here.
You know, Phi, you inspired one of our earliest episodes when we talked about koi, because you have a beautiful koi pond in the back of your home.
Yes, I do. I'm very fortunate to be one of the few people, at least in my backyard, that has koi.
I've always been fascinated by fish, so when I found out that you had a koi pond, I was fascinated. So tell me about, because this is relatively recent, how long have you had that pond?
Well, we moved to Stratford in 2006.
And that's Stratford, Ontario.
Stratford, Ontario, that's correct. And home of the Shakespeare Festival and the Pork Congress of Ontario.
And Phi's Koi Pond.
And Phi's Koi Pond, now world famous thanks to this podcast.
Awesome.
And we have probably about, 3 to 4 actual koi.
Okay.
Some of the other fish that resemble koi, that you could easily mistake for koi, are shunbunkins.
Shunbunkins.
Now, I might not be saying that correctly.
Well, but I love the word.
Yeah, it's a great word. It almost sounds edible, but we don't eat them.
Fair. But the cranes do, right? Didn't you have a problem with cranes?
We did. We had the herrings.
Oh, herrings.
Those great blue herrings. Mm-hmm. Now, we also have a rather large swimming pool. It's 20 by 40, and this herring would come and light down upon the middle, like where the diving board used to be. We removed the diving board for, safety precautions.
Sure.
But this heron would just be the master of all it surveyed. And it was also scoping out the fish.
Of course. So he had a little snack, or she had a little snack.
Yeah, undoubtedly. And I was able to scare it away by clapping repeatedly.
Well, I do that with the squirrels and the raccoons.
And as much as elegant as a bird as it is and beautiful to look at, you don't want it eating your koi.
No.
And it'll scare the other fish, and the other fish might even just, belly up.
Because of fright.
Because of fright.
Sure.
And fortunately, the time of year that it was, one of the things that we put in our koi pond are oxygenators. There's different types, and you put them in the pond, and they sort of flourish. So you can put one plant in, and it'll flourish to 10 or 12 plants.
So an oxygenator is something that brings oxygen to the pond, whether it be a plant or whether it be actual tubes that blow water in it? Would that
exactly.
be correct?
Well, these, I'm speaking of the plants that we would put in, and some of them are sort of they look like little corsages in the water.
Okay.
And then some of them look like soft pine needles.
Oh.
But it's really fascinating because you put the oxygenator in, and it provides oxygen for the fish.
Now, wait a second. Is the oxygenator the plant, or is it some sort of substance that you're putting in?
No, it's the plant.
It's the plant.
Yeah,
okay.
Sorry. We refer to them as oxygenators.
Fair.
And it's good to clear that up because there are products that you can put into the pond, but I don't tend to do that. I keep it au naturel.
Oh, that's great.
It's a natural ecosystem within itself, and there's frogs in the koi pond.
I saw a bunch of tadpole.
You've seen the tadpole action. Those frogs get busy.
I bet.
And they're singing all night long.
Oh.
Sometimes we have to get them out of the swimming pool back into the pond.
I see. Do you clap at them?
I don't clap at them at that point.
Okay.
I clap after they've been productive.
Okay.
And,
Sure, fair
just
enough.
to provide support.
Why not?
And then, let's see what else is floating around in that pond. We have the koi, the shunbunkins, if I'm saying that correctly. And hopefully there'll be somebody out there that can either clear up my pronunciation. I think I would welcome that.
We have a lot of our listeners who will tweet us at Listen and Sleep.
Yes.
And they'll give us hints or suggestions, and I'm certain somebody will will inform us. Now, what's the difference between a shunbunkin and a koi?
The thing that's most distinctive, of course, about koi that we love is the variety of colors.
Right.
And most people, when they think of koi, they think of maybe, paintings you'll see, water paintings where they're orange and white, but there's all kinds of different colors of koi.
Right.
The shunbunkins as well have a variety of colors, but it's mostly in the taper of their fins. They have a nice, long, sort of elegant fin.
I see.
That you can follow through the water.
Oh.
Quite often, if they're trying to hide beneath the oxygenators, if they feel they're threatened,
right,
you might see them quickly swim and you just catch the end of their tail.
I see.
So you have to kind of sneak up on them like a ninja if I want to get any photos or actually see them, or maybe try to feed them. That's the other great thing about this pond, that as it's established, we leave it au naturel, and they feed off of, sometimes if it's very quiet, you can go out and you can hear them, the koi and the other fish, we even have a large goldfish in there, chomping on some of the plant life. So you can hear them chomp. You can hear it, and it's really quite a crisp sound. It sounds like somebody eating a salad.
Okay.
And they chomp away, and it's hard to duplicate that sound right now. But you can imagine someone eating a nice crisp piece of lettuce.
Okay.
And that's what it sounds like, but it's at the pond level. And then if you go a little closer, you might hear something splash into the pond, and that's probably the king frog that seems to be master of the pond for this season.
Amazing.
Yeah, bright Kermit green.
Oh, it sounds like a regal frog.
Yeah, it's very regal.
So you have, if I'm not mistaken, koi, shunbunkins, and a goldfish.
Yes.
For good measure. Like, did you just?
He was, or she was so beautiful. I wasn't able to check the, the male-female aspect. I'm still not quite sure on that. But we do know that we have both male and female, because we have very successfully every year had them reproduce.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So we might buy 4 or 5 koi. We might lose a few over the season to who knows what, various
fright
herrings, maybe the odd raccoon, which we've been very fortunate with, but we have had on one occasion a raccoon sipping from the pond, and I'm sure wanting to devour some tasty sushi.
I can't tell you the frustration that I have with raccoons in our backyard. It's just.
I know they're quite socialized in Toronto, aren't they?
Yeah, they're unafraid.
Yeah,
they're very bold. They travel in packs. They're like little gang animals that just wreak havoc on the community. So I have no love.
They're out there with their little masks.
You don't know what they're going to get up to.
You don't know who they really are.
And they fit into the smallest little places, and they climb. They're just very horribly resourceful. But back to the pond. You might hear a siren right now. We're actually recording this in Brooklyn, New York. So
city brimming with activity.
It is. Have you had a chance to go out?
We did have a little stroll around town. I found a really cool hip men's clothing store, which I'm hoping to look at. I think it's called Jive.
What are you looking for?
I'm looking for some extremely loud shirts. I think I'm looking for something that's says Brooklyn without saying Brooklyn written across it.
Are you someone who can wear a vest?
You know what? Maybe with a suit, but I'm not a person that selects to wear a vest over just a shirt. For some reason, I never got into that look.
I can't wear a vest. I'm barrel-chested, so if I wear a vest, it looks like I'm wearing an actual barrel. I'm going to go over Niagara Falls. Do you remember, I don't know, back in the 50s, I think it was like a costume people would wear, which would be like a barrel with suspenders. You'd often see it on like the Flintstones or something, like a crazy uncle would
It was a classic look.
Yeah, that's what I look like when I wear a vest. I'm just getting into like wearing bow ties. I never thought I could carry a bow tie. I thought I was strictly a cravat type person.
Yes.
But my buddy Matt did a proper bow tie for me.
Oh.
It looked really good.
So it wasn't a clip-on, it was an actual tie. You got to tie it. Yeah. I think those are better when it comes to bow ties.
They're hard.
Yeah.
I can do many different sort of knots on a cravat because I went to Catholic school.
Yes.
And we had to wear a uniform, right?
Yeah.
And so, you pass the time by making bow ties. But the bow tie I find difficult. It's like we have this contraption at the cottage, which is like a little tent that it folds into a circle, into like a pretty big circle.
Okay.
And when you pull it out, it just expands and pops into a small little tenty thing that you can go in and get some cover from the sun.
Wow.
Right? The problem, Vi, is closing that thing back up and because it's all like spring action and like flexible.
It sounds like a bounce.
That's
for a
100%.
film shoot.
That's exactly what it's like. And for our listeners, a bounce is what they use to bounce light onto the actor. So they'll use this sort of screened little circle that's usually white or like a silver metallic. And when the light hits it, they're able to bounce light onto
the object of their desire.
Yeah. So it's kind of like that. And whenever I go to close it, it's like I almost don't want to take it out of its little shell because it's impossible to close. You have to sort of make it into a taco and then turn the taco inside out, and you've got to make sure you don't bend the wire but pull it down, and then by some miracle it'll every once in a while it'll collapse into itself very easily, and my wife will look at me like, you were amazing.
How did you do that?
And then sometimes I'm spending 27 minutes and it just looks like a horrible mess, but I get it into the little bag. So you're looking for a loud shirt.
Oh, for what?
A loud shirt, you said.
Yeah, a loud shirt. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think so. Something that, I like to come back. And, of course, there's always things that you can bring back to, say, Brooklyn or NYC or I Heart New York, but which are all cool. But I think if I can bring back something that feels like, yeah, I'd totally wear that in Brooklyn, see if I can get away with it in Stratford.
Without advertising that you were in Brooklyn.
That's right. And it's always, a nice statement piece. Yeah, no, we got this in Brooklyn.
Now, going back to the koi, I just have a couple more questions. Tell me about what's the most difficult aspect about having a koi pond.
My biggest concern for the koi is in the wintertime.
Okay. Yeah, so what, because Canada has harsh winters, but in particular, Stratford, Ontario, if I'm not mistaken, is in what we call a snow belt.
Yes, it has its own private snow belt that it really buckles down on. Yeah. And there is, deep freeze. Last year, the frost line went down, probably twice as far as it normally would. It was so cold.
Wow.
Or maybe that was the year before. Regardless, the frost line, it's you got to go down deep to avoid that. So that means this particular pond isn't that deep.
Right.
So we need to keep the pump circulating.
I see.
And keep the water circulating so that there's gases are released from the fish, from the koi, and then that's the biggest concern, in that they don't freeze. They can get deep enough and they stay very still. They almost look like, sometimes they're so still when they're alive that you'd think that they weren't alive.
Right.
But in the winter, as they're coming out of their hibernation or their deep freeze, I've never actually seen them sort of get out and stretch their fins. They just all of a sudden, the water's warmed up, and
they're more active.
And you're just thrilled to see that they made it through the winter. That's cool, because you can't exactly, big sigh of relief, and because otherwise you don't really know. I mean, I can go back and check, but I'm not going to see them through the ice.
Right.
I can't break the ice. That'll disturb them.
Sure.
And then
what do
you
they
just
need
need to
in the
keep
winter?
it circulating. Some bubbling. They need just the water bubbling. I think that their digestive system slows down, which is another interesting thing, because fish that are larger, they grow to the size of what they eat.
Right.
And that's another nice thing. Another nice thing about we don't really feed them. I feed them on occasion.
Right.
If they seem hungry, but most of the time I'll throw some food in and wait, and they're not interested.
Happens.
No, they're well fed.
Wow.
So, having said that, it's like, they go up and down in size.
Okay.
And sometime during the season, they obviously get it on,
right?
Because there's little baby koi which are really tiny, like they're like less than
like your thumbnail,
like an inch.
Okay.
Yeah, they're very small, and you see them darting over the place.
And have any of them grown to full size now that you've had that? Like, do you have any? Like
any sizable ones? The goldfish is probably the largest fish.
No, but I mean of the babies that they've had, or the fry. That
they do grow into. They go into adulthood. Yeah, it's really something to see these little schools. It's not a lot of them, because there's probably only, I don't know, there might be a dozen various fish in there.
Mm-hmm.
But it's exciting to watch them float around. And
We live in a culture obsessed with dieting, weight loss, and exercise, and that can make eating disorder behaviors easy to miss. But the reality is, eating disorders are serious mental illnesses that take a major toll on your health and your life. But recovery is possible. Eating disorders are more common than you might think. Chances are you know someone who is struggling with one, or maybe you're struggling yourself. If you're concerned about an eating disorder in yourself or a loved one, I want to introduce you to Equip. Equip is a fully virtual, evidence-based eating disorder treatment program that helps patients achieve lasting recovery at home. Every Equip patient is matched with a multidisciplinary care team that includes a therapist, dietitian, medical provider, and mentors. And you get a personalized treatment plan that's tailored to your unique goals and challenges. Equip treats patients of all ages and all eating disorder diagnoses. It's covered by insurance, and there's no wait list. If you think that you or a loved one could be struggling with an eating disorder, don't wait to get help. Visit equip.health to learn more. That's equip.health.
With almost 500,000 customers and over $1 trillion of secure payments, Bill isn't new to intelligent finance. It's the proven way to simplify bill pay and maximize cash flow. Want to learn more? Visit Bill.com/proven for a special offer.
What about those lotus flowers? Do you have any of those?
We do. We do.
So beautiful.
They're gorgeous, and they do come back every year. And
Okay.
you do. The one thing you have to be mindful of is that you trim the roots back in the baskets that you have the plant in.
Okay.
However, having said that, the koi do seem to eat. I think they eat those
The roots.
The roots. So you want to pick your times when you do that, so that you're kind of not fussing too much with that ecosystem that's been established.
Lotus root is delicious.
Is it?
Have you ever had it?
I haven't. At least I don't think I have.
When I go for Korean food, and I could be completely wrong, so I'm sure somebody will. I remember getting this. They'll give you these like, I wish I remember the name of it. They're like little appetizers that they give you before you
like
have
a kimchi or
it'll be
spicy
kimchi,
cabbage.
It'll be kimchi. It'll be sometimes it'll be sprouts and beans, and every once in a while I'll get like a pickled lotus root.
Ooh.
And it has a really interesting look to it. It kind of has little sort of cut out circles inside it.
Oh,
I guess how they cut
yes.
the
Okay,
root.
I have had those. That's pickled lotus root.
Yes, I could be wrong, but like, because if I'm not mistaken, it's like what do they call those things? Like you know how ginger is a rhizome.
Like a crucifer? Is that the right term?
It's
No.
like I always do this.
Yeah, rhizome?
Rhizome, that's it. I think it's like a rhizome because it kind of looks like that. So I guess they cut it and pickle it or whatever, and it's my favorite.
I think it's amazing that, whoever discovered to eat that, must have been somewhat hungry.
Sure.
And to go, I'll eat this. It looks like a potato.
Yeah, if the koi's ready to eat it.
The koi's are eating it.
Are you a fan of ginger?
I love ginger. Yeah, it's very good. I think it's very good for us, good for our stomach and our digestion, but I also think it's just a best flavor.
I was told if you have a cold and you draw a warm bath and you chop some ginger and put it in there, it helps to soothe aches and pains and colds.
Yeah.
And I've done it, but it feels like you're in a soup. It feels like you're like in...
Are you putting it in a tub? Are you immersing yourself in it? Wow, how much ginger, how many roots do you use? Are you using like your Vegematic to chop it up?
I'm just chopping it into thin pieces. Maybe the size of I don't know what.
So a good size ginger root. You chop it up, you put it in the water.
So the size of the palm of your hand.
Okay.
Chop it up, throw it in the warm bath.
Yeah.
You'll have a ginger sort of scent in the air.
Oh, that's nice.
And I remember reading somewhere that if you hang eucalyptus on your shower head, the steam from the shower will cause the eucalyptus to release its oils, and it'll really be helpful for people who sing or for people who...
I like that.
You're a singer.
I am. Yeah. I like that eucalyptus idea, and it's like a potted eucalyptus that you...
It wasn't what I did.
Yeah.
Maybe a potted eucalyptus would be the smart way to go, but I don't know how you'd have that in the shower. You could probably have it in your bathroom.
Right, it kind of,
It was actual eucalyptus leaves.
Oh,
so like
okay.
like a stem of eucalyptus.
Yeah.
I tied on a string and put it on my shower head, and then away I went.
Wow.
It didn't improve my singing though.
It didn't, eh?
No. When did you discover that you could sing?
I think I probably fancied myself a singer from a very young age. Okay. Yeah, my mom was a great encouragement to me that way. And I'd sing very high as a kid,
Oh,
and I'd say,
really?
I can sing like a girl, like I can sing high, like, and I'd sing
Sure.
some soprano note,
Right.
like a boy soprano.
Mm-hmm.
And then probably, my family was very, very indulgent with me. My older brother, Brad, he played a lot of Three Dog Night.
Okay.
So I'd perform like Chuck Negron songs, and Eli's Coming, and try to do some of the harmonies. And I was the only one singer, but I'd have this stretchy arm exerciser that looked like a microphone.
Okay.
So that was my microphone.
One of those things that's kind of like a bar and you bend it? Is that it?
Well, actually, no. It was even just stretchy. Like it was just like like a Stretch Armstrong, but the tension was more.
I had a Stretch Armstrong.
Did you? He was the best.
All I wanted for Christmas one year was a Stretch Armstrong. And for those of you who don't know what a Stretch Armstrong, it was a doll.
Yeah, kind of like
toy.
a burly wrestler.
Yeah, kind of
Yeah.
like if Aquaman was a wrestler.
Yeah, exactly. He did look like
Yeah,
Aquaman.
and you would stretch his arms, so you could just pull on his arms and legs and stretch them as far as your little, kid hands could
Yeah,
stretch, and then you'd
that's
let
right.
go and it would go back.
And he'd go back into shape.
Yeah,
It was the best thing.
Sorry, but back to your faux microphone. So you
Oh,
would
yeah,
use
yeah.
that.
So that was my microphone. Then I decided I needed a stage, and my parents had this shiny comforter that has a silver and a purple.
Oh, cool.
And sometimes, depending on my mood, I guess, I would throw down either side. So sometimes the stage would be purple, and sometimes it would be silver.
Prince used to do that. You're in good company.
Thank you. But I think that what was fun about that was then my sisters would get in on the act, and they would put because Chuck had a mustache.
Right.
So they would do this mascara mustache, all the way, like a Chuck Negron look, all the way down, down to the chin, or was it that 70s look.
Like a handlebar type.
Yeah, so I'd really go to town on, Eli's coming, Eli's a coming, hide your heart.
It's amazing.
I love that song, man.
And so that was what brought you to music, or that was one of the things earlier?
Yeah, I think we
memories?
had a lot of music in the house, and lots of stuff. And much later, not much later, not much more later than that, but Elvis was a big presence in our house.
Sure.
And so we'd hear a lot of Elvis, and my mom had every Elvis record going all the time, and even in high school, I had a little bit of. I sometimes come from high school, and she'd have Elvis playing, and I'm like, oh my God, not again.
Right.
But as a result, I kind of learned every one of his songs, so it was nice payoff there.
You ended up playing Elvis a few times in a few different shows.
I have, yeah.
What's
yeah.
it like to embody the king?
It's one of my favorite things. Yeah, for sure, I think. It's just a lot of fun. There's a lot of license. I think it gives you a lot of, as long as you take ownership of it.
Of course.
I think you get, there's a lot of payoff. The audience is somewhat built in, and as long as you stay true to, I think, what most people, everybody has a different idea about Elvis. He's a bit of a white whale that way, a nice canvas. So I think that enables the performer to, have a lot of freedom. And it's a lot of fun.
What's
I love the
interesting?
music.
So I saw you perform as Elvis, and when you're going to see a friend and a fellow performer in a play, you're hoping for the best. But when you know that they're going to be impersonating an icon like Elvis, part of your mind is like, wow, I hope it's not horrible.
Right, I hope he
say-
doesn't stink.
Yeah.
It's not a big stank fest.
So, because what do you say to the person afterwards, right? And you don't look like Elvis. Like,
No, not really.
For our listeners, you've got blue eyes and reddish hair, and so we don't know. We've never seen you as Elvis. So I remember going and being a little bit nervous because you're like, okay, this is either going to be good or not good. And you were great. You were like,
thanks,
I was
man.
cheering as if Elvis was performing. It was fantastic, Phi. So it's
Thank you, Mark.
It's pretty.
Thanks,
it was
man.
pretty awesome experience from someone. I think anytime you go see a fellow performer perform, you see it through different eyes.
This is true, yeah.
But I totally bought in. It was totally a magical experience.
Oh, that's
Are there
fantastic.
any
Thank
other
you.
people you'd like to play?
I've always had a love for Van Gogh. I think he'd be a really interesting person, and I wouldn't have to dye my hair. I'd just grow the beard.
Sure, you could do that for Halloween. Easily.
Yeah, I could,
That's the costume that you have in your back pocket, right? Is Van Gogh. Oh,
I do kind of like those, those sort of iconic individuals in various, whatever their discipline was, whether it was the Impressionists for Van Gogh or Elvis for rock music, or, you know, even Jesus, you know.
Right.
And, you know, I think that'd be a very compelling role to play.
Sure.
And you just hope that you know, are able to play one of those roles before you know, in an appropriate time frame.
Sure, before you're old enough to play Moses.
That's
and then you
right.
Can't play,
That's
you
right.
Can't play Jesus, right? That's fair.
It's a little tricky, you know.
And I know you're a huge comic book fan.
I am.
So if you could portray any comic that hasn't appeared on the screen yet,
ooh, yeah,
who would that be?
Well,
this
you
is
know,
some of my Barbara Walters questions I'm asking you.
You're not going to make me cry, Marco.
No.
Or you might.
We're past
you
that
might.
point.
I'm close to it.
We've only got 2 minutes left.
Okay,
so
well, I better get the tears out. My Aquaman. You know, I always had an eye for Aquaman just because of my overall, you know, appearance.
See, I've always been a fan of Aquaman. But back when I was a kid, it wasn't cool to be.
No,
it was always
it
like
wasn't.
Batman,
Like he was the
or
least
Superman,
cool.
or because we would all take on a superhero character, and we'd go on my aunt's little balcony and jump off it.
Nice.
So there was always Batman, Superman, Robin, Cartwheel Girl, Wonder Woman, and I don't think Cartwheel Girl was a superhero.
She's new. I haven't heard of her. But
I'm pretty sure my cousin could do cartwheels, and so that was her thing.
It was good.
And I would be Aquaman, and everyone kind of like, well, you can have Aquaman.
Right, yeah. So you get first dibs on him every time.
Yeah,
at
nobody
least that
wanted
way.
to be Aquaman, but I always thought he was cool. I think it's because I had a love for under the water creatures.
And that's one of the most extraordinary things about him. You know, the whole communicating with these huge leviathans and sort of have them do what he needed them to do, and living with them and not, you know, working against them.
Sure.
That was that's a great superpower to have. And the swimming, I love swimming, so it's just underwater. The peacefulness of that and the speed with which he can move through water, it's just so cool.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, Phi, you know, if you ever decide to write a biography, I think the appropriate title would be Swimming with Koi. Because we're back from where we started with Aquaman and sea creatures, and I wonder what he'd say to your koi, or what he'd command them to do.
This is a good question. Yeah, I think he'd tell them to go deep.
Yeah. I hope next time I'm there, I find a little Aquaman figurine in your koi pond.
That's a beautiful idea. I love that suggestion.
You heard it here first, so you know, no one, your wife and your son cannot complain if that happens, because we decided here on the Insomnia Project.
We're definitely going to do that.
Awesome. Well, Phi Bulani, thank you so much for being on our podcast today.
Thank you so much, Marco. This is a fantastic experience.
Awesome.
Here in Brooklyn.
There you go. As always, we're produced by Drumcast Productions, and we are recording in Brooklyn, New York.